And one morning, I was at Crewe cattle auction. I was approached by a large gentleman that came out of the gentleman's convenient eye, rummaging up and down the front of his trousers like this here. Hey, young fella, he said, I want a word with thee. Somebody said, oh, George is going out in a bit this morning. Now, they got a new truss of a small parasite in his crutch. He said, it's my pit. He said, it's our septic tank and all. I thought, oh, dear. He said, yes. He said, I've had a very nasty letter from the council. That was the Cheshire County Council, the all-seeing, all-powerful. I said, like what? He said, well, I got this note. Well, we'd had one of our summers. It had rained for 3 weeks. He said, and the effluviant, not the effluent, the effluviant, is coming out of my pit and going in the ditch. And as the ditch gets into the stream, and the stream meanders through Cheshire, the methane gas given off was putting the roadman asleep on the end of his brush. He said, I've had a nasty terse letter from Backford Hall saying, keep your shit to yourself. He said, I've had one of them there machines slinging one of them buckets in, dragging it out. He said, when he gets it on the bank, it all slithers back again. He said, I've been wondering. Mind you, I was wondering a bit myself. It was like watching Pot Black. He said, I was wondering if you could bring some of that there stuff, and blew it out. And he went like that, and he fell on his back. He'd obviously had no toys as a child. In the next breath, he said, where's it due? I thought, now there's a highly technical question. Where's it due? I said, it vaporises, old chap. What goes up has got to come down. There's no radioactive fallout with it, it's all pure shite. Now, the idea is, put plenty in. Give it some stick. Get the bloody lot up to 300 feet with a 35-mile-an-hour wind behind it, and it's anybody's. But you have done the job you have contracted to do. You've shifted the muck out the pit hole. Never do it on a still day, because it goes up in the air and falls back in the bloody pit again. And on a windy day, don't go and charge his neighbour for the manure. They don't like it. Especially when he misses, he's snatching the washing in off the line. Because when those big gobs go down, and especially if they hit blankets, you've heard the old saying, to a blanket. He said, I wish you'd come and have a do at it. I said, I shall come given a 4-6 on the Beaufort scale. Make it sound a little more technical, it's always good for another fiver. The following Wednesday, there was a 35-mile-an-hour wind blowing. I said, where's this pit you want cleaning out, Gaffer? He said, come down the field and I'll show you. There's a pit hole about 3 times the size of this room. And we went down the field. I took a 100-pound weight of gelignite in big 5-pound sticks. And this Cortex, this is high explosive cord, so we link it up with this. It's loaded with TNT. This detonates at 4 miles a second. And some stupid bugger made the slow fuse the same colour, and my eyes aren't what they used to be. And one of these nights, I'm going to snip a bit of that off by mistake and blow my knackers off just because of that. Anyway, so the top of this pit looked like one of Fanny Craddock's meringues gone wrong. It was covered with grommets, gubbits, and excrusions. It was 6 inches thick. I got a 5-pound stick of gelignite, threaded the Cortex through it, the explosive cord, tied a knot and slung it in, and it hit the top of this morass of shite. It upended, and something dragged it down. And a big green bubble come up and winked at me. And we heard a most evil chuckle as the swine swallowed it. And I chucked another one in on the Cortex. And in all, I got a 100-pound weight of explosive in 22 foot of shite. And when that goes off, it's all got to go. What did I tell you? In water, shite, or rice pudding, it multiplies its shock wave 4 times. So that 100-pound weight is like a 400-pound free-drop bomb. You can make the test for yourselves on Sunday. Get 2 tin plates, one of crisps and one of rice pudding. Take your right hand and go whack on the crisps first of all. This lulls them into a sense of false security. You'll always find that mother-in-law wants a closer look. Take the same hand and go whack on a big plate of rice pudding, and even the pot ducks on the wall will get a bit. It's a shockwave through the massive liquid that does it. So we've got it all in there, and it's all got to go. Linked all the ends up, fuse, detonate it. How tall is it? What about him down there? 100 yards down the field, there's a bloke doing a bit of edge brushing. She loves me. She loved me not. 3 snaps with a blunt hook at one twig, it didn't fall off. put the blade on the ground, sat on the bloody shaft and start like a shooting stick and starts combing his hair. I thought, he's a lovely lad, that. Is he one of ours or one of theirs? Well, at that time, there were lots of Italian prisoners of war about, if you remember. I said, he'll have to shift, he's going to get the lot. We're taking 4,500 ton of vaporised shite up to 300 feet with a 36-mile-an-hour wind blowing straight towards him. He's 100 yards down the field. We have his range to a yard. He has no chance. And he said, will you go and tell him I've got a gammy leg? I said, I'll go and tell him. I walked down the field. I said to this chap, you've heard about the shower of shite over Shropshire? I said, we're having one over Cheshire today. Make the funny, laugh it up with the peasants. He turned out, simile quello, am I right? I thought, Christ, it's too good to miss. You know, excitable buggers they are. Well, that'll teach you to put antifreeze in the bloody wine. I shot back up that field. I did 100 yards in 12.4 in gum boots. I cut the fuse in two. That gave him all of 15 seconds. The moment I lit it, also his leg got better. I've never seen a bloke move from a standing start to fast in my bloody life. And I'll tell you this, I was a close second. We got about 30 yards up the field, turned around with the wind at our backs, and the bloody thing took off. And it trickles the soles of your feet. And this column of shite rose into the sky. And it's going up, and one gob's trying to race the other. Something like that tower of Babel outside Baghdad, because that's only camel shit and sand, you know. And at 300 feet, it mushroomed out, and a shaft of sunlight hit it. And you see all the colours of the starling's wing, the greens and the golds, and the browns, light and dark, streaked with a bottle green. Pig shit, a very sour smell, especially when it's been in there for 75 here. Then the wind hit and it turned over like an avenging humbug. And the look of horror on his face, like, ah! You can't run at 36 miles an hour with clogs on and wet blowing. He tried. You'd have tried. He's got 4,500 tons of shit chasing you down the field. At the same time he turned, his body moved and his feet didn't. Did himself a mischief. Finished up with a face full of shit and a double hernia. Then we lost him for a quarter of an hour. It went hissing on its evil way, turning from a purple cloud to a grey fog. And then we looked down the field and this gob of frog spawn wriggled and writhed, and it rose up like phoenix arising from the ashes. I should have been a minister. And his first reaction was to go, ooh. And the solids had mixed with the liquids and gone into a goo. I thought, it's Clem Son, the birdman. I said to old Thorny, we'd better go down and see if he's all right. He said, no, stay where you are, lad. Let him come to us. Keep the bloody wind at your back. No sympathy at all.